Whether you're working as a health, fitness, or a wellness professional, you're going to see clients that are going to have a lot of trouble with cravings. And things may be going great until a craving totally derails the whole situation, and then they're really not going to be able to see the results that you're wanting them to see. They're going to tell you, oh man, everything was going great until I had those 12 donuts. And you can tell them, well, here's something to keep in mind. Just don't have 12 of anything. That might be an idea, but what you really want to do is help them understand why they're having those cravings and then help them fix the problem. In this video, I'm going to walk you through that process. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
Now, more and more people are really starting to understand that what you eat really counts. And for a lot of these health issues that so many people are dealing with now, to really turn them around and correct the actual underlying cause of what's happening, people really need to change the type of foods that they're eating. And a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people really need to reduce the level of carbohydrates and sugar and processed junk that they're eating. But they think that they're, I'm a chocoholic, or I'm a carbaholic, and they feel like it's a willpower issue. Or maybe it's just like some kind of personality trait where they have to have, cookies every 45 minutes. But the reality is that cravings are a physiological sign that is telling the body of something that it needs, or something that is missing, or some type of problem that is going on. So when I was working out as a personal trainer, before I really understood all this nutrition and physiology stuff, I would have clients that would just eat all this junk, and I'd be like, why don't you just not eat that junk? I don't eat that junk. I don't eat that junk. Why do you gotta eat that junk? And I would feel like they just really didn't have willpower. But when you understand what's going on, you see that you can really help these people by helping them correct the malfunctions and the physiological issues that are creating these cravings. When we're looking at cravings, we need to understand that the body needs minerals and glucose for a wide variety of functions. So here's how it works. When mineral levels in the body go really low, a person can have a seizure. And if blood sugar goes really low, a person can have a seizure. Now, when minerals and blood sugar go really low at the same time, that person is even more likely to have a seizure. So if these seizures are basically the body just kind of shutting itself down due to this lack of resources, then we can view these cravings as a signal from the body saying, hey, these things are really going low. I'm getting kind of a little bit nervous about this. I really don't want to shut down the whole system, so you need to bring me in something else. So here's what we need to understand. First of all, if a client is having a craving for some cookies, that doesn't mean he's about to have a seizure. The body really gets defensive about these resources going so low that it's going to shut the whole system down. So it sends the signal way in advance. So people don't need to freak out like, oh, I'm about to have a seizure, so we better have some pizza. But here's what we want to understand, is that when minerals go really low, the system can buffer those low minerals by raising blood sugars. And if sugars go really low, the system can buffer that if minerals are high enough. So a person can have a craving for either salty or sweet, and the body's just saying, hey, can you bring something in here to deal with this deficit that's going on? So when we're getting cravings for something salty or sweet, we can bring that in and it'll buffer whatever is low. So it's when both of these things go low at the same time that the real trouble kicks in. So the best way to help clients reduce these cravings and to reduce their body screaming for these carbs or sugars or junk all the time is to lift mineral levels when mineral levels are low. So you can get an idea of where your client's mineral levels are by looking at their blood pressure at least 2 hours after a meal, but not first thing in the morning when they're fasted. It should be after a meal. But they can even do this at home with a blood pressure cuff that they pick up at their local pharmacy for $30 or $40. And if that systolic number, the top number on the blood pressure reading, is less than 112, that's a really strong indication that minerals are low in the system. And when minerals are low, most bodies are really going to scream for these carbs that can buffer the low minerals. So this becomes a big jumping point to where we can really look, okay, are mineral levels low in this client? And if they are, now we have a place to start from. Now we can work to lift these mineral levels, and that'll often correct these cravings. Now there's a variety of issues that can cause your client's mineral levels to go low, but the most common cause for minerals going low is digestive malfunctions. So if your clients are having any type of digestive symptoms like burping or bloating or acid reflux or constipation or diarrhea or nausea or even skin or acne issues, these are all really strong signs that digestion is not working correctly. And it's not really the digestive symptoms that are causing these cravings. It's not like, oh, I haven't pooped for a week, so give me some cookies. That's not what's happening. But the underlying cause of these digestive symptoms can restrict the ability to pull those nutrients and minerals out of the food that they're eating. So here's how digestion is supposed to work. When we eat food, our stomachs make hydrochloric acid, or HCl. And this HCl is meant to help us break that food down so that we can get the nutrients out of that food. And then once the food is properly acidified and it leaves the stomach and goes into the duodenum, which is the first 10 inches of the small intestine, that's when the gallbladder squirts this alkaline bile down onto that acidic product. Now, these two products meeting each other of opposite pHs, the stomach acid is very acidic and the bile is very alkaline. When those opposite solutions meet, it creates a sizzle. And this sizzle really helps us bust that food apart and really get all the nutrients and minerals out of that food. The problem is it's really common today for someone not to be making enough stomach acid for a wide variety of reasons. And it's also really common for clients to have their bile too thick and sticky so it won't flow correctly. Now it's not coming down from the gallbladder to neutralize those acids. But if either of these sides of digestion are not working correctly, you don't get that sizzle. And then the client can't really bust their food apart and pull all the nutrients and minerals out of that food, and minerals will go low in the system. Clients need to understand that's why we eat food. We're eating food so the body can get those nutrients and those minerals that it needs to function correctly. We're not eating food just so we have something to do while we're watching Cobra Kai. It's because the body wants those nutrients. The problem is these carbohydrates and processed foods and sugars are a lot easier to break down when digestion is not functioning correctly. So it's really easy to break down a toaster pastry and turn that into fuel that the body can use because it's just this processed carbohydrates and junk that's practically broken down in the package. So the body sees, oh yeah, I remember, that was really easy to break down and turn that into fuel, so I'm going to scream for more of that junk. Now, to magnify this problem of low minerals and low nutrients, some clients are going to have an imbalance that can kind of turn their insulin into like a bully. And that insulin will sweep out too much glucose from the bloodstream too quickly. And then they get this huge blood sugar crash. So if a client's having minerals that are already low and they're eating these high carbohydrate foods and it's creating this spike and crash in blood sugar, when that blood sugar crashes, now both things are going low at the same time. And that's going to create real problems. So we like to help these clients eat lower carbohydrate foods. Maybe they still need some carbohydrates, but if they can eat lower carbohydrate foods that don't create such a spike and then create such a huge crash, then they're removing that crash and the blood sugar won't go so low that the body's screaming for more carbs. So to help clients figure out if they're dealing with these digestive malfunctions or these imbalances that cause insulin to be too powerful, my book Health Pro Results will walk you through how to teach the clients simple self-tests that they can run at home using tools they can pick up at a pharmacy or a health food store. And chapters 3 and 4 of the book also help you learn how to help clients figure out which aspects of digestion may not be working correctly, and if they're not, what steps they can take to correct those. And the book is available on Amazon, but I'm going to put a link in the description below this video so you can get the whole thing totally for free. And that'll walk you through that process of understanding how to look at each client instead of just looking at a symptom. We really want to look at each client's unique bio-individuality and help them fix the actual underlying cause of the problem for them. Now, one thing that can help some clients, if you see that their blood pressure is really low, is that really can be helpful is to just raise their salt intake. A lot of these clients are running from salt because the doctor told their Uncle Bill that it was going to kill him, and maybe it was a problem for him. But people with low blood pressure have low mineral levels and really need to increase those mineral levels. But a lot of people are using table salt that doesn't have as much minerals in there, so you really want to have them use some type of unrefined salt. Like an unrefined salt, like a sea salt or some type of mine salt, will usually have more minerals and mineral cofactors that can help the body get the nutrients and minerals it needs so it can function the way that it wants to function. But to get an idea of how much this could help your clients, just tell them, hey, when you're having a craving, just take a little salt on your finger and put it on your tongue and see, does that bring a little bit of relief over the next few minutes? And this just can be a temporary thing, but they can understand, oh, I really do need more minerals. Because those minerals on the tongue is just telling the body, hey, don't worry about those donuts, I got some minerals coming in, and we can use that. And again, this can bring a little bit of relief for some people, especially if they're just kind of on the fence. But to really actually correct the underlying cause of the problem, you need to correct any of those digestive malfunctions so that the body can bring in the minerals and nutrients that it really needs. They're eating the food anyways, let's help them get the actual nutrients and minerals that the body's looking for. But since the steps needed to correct such a wide variety of health issues and to help some clients really lose weight like they really may need to, reducing carbs and sugars can be crucial, but so many of these clients are absolutely going to fail when cravings kick in. So I always look at the cravings as a priority when I'm working with a client to really help them remove the roadblocks that are going to knock them off the tracks. I've had clients that were seeing a therapist 3 days a week for more than 10 years just for their cravings, and when we were able to fix their digestion and lift their mineral levels, all of a sudden that's weird. I don't need to see my therapist every week anymore. Now that's not to say that therapy can't be beneficial. It can be very helpful, but when you can help a client fix the underlying cause of the problem, all of a sudden it can become a whole lot less of a problem. So if you need more help understanding this bio-individuality stuff, just grab my book for free below and that'll walk you through that process. But for right now, to understand digestive issues a little bit better, jump over to our video on helping clients fix digestive issues. I can't wait to hear about your results.